Hi, this is Autohaus Hamilton TV. I'm James, and in this video I'll be talking about brake calipers. The first thing to look at with brake calipers is how do they work. In a modern vehicle we've got hydraulic brakes which use hydraulic fluid to do the work for us. Basic brake caliper looks something like this. This is a brake caliper such as you'd find on the rear of a 911 SC or similar. Modern brake systems are hydraulic, so brake fluid gets pushed into the brake caliper when you stand on the brake pedal, and it enters through here. Pressure in the brake caliper then forces the pistons here and here out and against the brake pad. The brake pad squeezes the brake disc, heat is generated, and you slow down. This is an example of a two-piston caliper. So you've got a piston on each side of the caliper. There's a one-step simpler option, which is to have a single piston, such as what you'd find on the rear brakes of some Macans. And what happens there is that the caliper is mounted in such a way that it can slide. So when pressure is put on one side, the caliper slides to press the brake pad against the brake disc on each side. There are also brake calipers with more pistons. So here's an example of what's known as a big red brake caliper. No prizes for guessing why this is known as a big red. It's red and also it's big. Now this is a four-piston caliper. We've got two pistons on each side, and the two pistons aren't the same size. So we've got a smaller piston and a larger piston. The reason for that is that the smaller piston reacts a little bit quicker because science, when you apply pressure to the brake pedal, and that allows for improved brake feel and brake modulation. Being a hydraulic system, integral to the working is the brake seals. Those caliper seals lead a hard life. They do their work every time you use the brakes, and they're exposed to a great deal of heat because the brakes work to convert the forward motion of the car into heat energy. So the brake seals go through many, many heat cycles, and eventually they give up and the seals start to leak. When that happens, it's time for new brake seals. And you can buy brake seal kits. So this is a brake seal kit for an early 911 rear brakes. But it's fairly typical of what you'd get for any seal kit. And what we have in the kit is some brake hardware, brake seals, and dust boots. If you're doing a brake caliper repair, you'll need two seal kits per axle, because each seal kit is good for one brake caliper. What you don't get in a brake seal kit are the seals that go between the two halves of the caliper. So unless you've been able to get hold of those seals elsewhere, and they're not a true O-ring, they're kind of a square section O-ring, unless you've been able to get hold of those seals, don't disassemble the caliper. While brake calipers can be repaired, they do reach a point where they need to be replaced. After a great deal of use, and particularly after a great deal of heavy use, such as what you'd have if you were racing a car, the brake calipers need to be replaced, and they'll need to be replaced because the brake calipers are no longer true. So what I mean by that is that the brake caliper has become somewhat bowed, so that the pistons are no longer pushing out at 90 degrees to the body of the brake caliper. The most obvious change in brake calipers over the years is one of aesthetics. As wheel designs have changed from being completely closed up to increasingly open, so that the brake disc and the brake caliper are on display, car designers, and Porsche among them, have made brake calipers something of a design feature. So on modern Porsches, the brake calipers are very clearly visible, and they form part of the visual appeal of the vehicle.
Now we're sexy!
Since the late 80s or early 90s, Porsche have used brake caliper colors to carry some information and have some significance. Where we are now is black is used on the base model in any Porsche series, The step up from that takes you to red brake calipers, and those are typically used on the S models. So where a Boxster gets black brakes or possibly grey brakes, the Boxster S will get red calipers. In the world of Cayennes, typically an S got a silver caliper and a Turbo S got red brakes. Yellow brake calipers indicate that a car is running PCCB, which is Porsche's acronym for their ceramic brakes. It is a Porsche carbon ceramic brake. And green brakes indicate that the car is running a hybrid system, and we can expect to see more of those in the years to come. As ever, thank you very much for watching. Where we are now is